let me ask you something. When was the last time you really learned something? Not memorize something for a test, not watch a video and felt like you understood it, but actually learned, changed how you think, saw something differently the next morning. I've been a teacher for 15 years. I've spent 15 years helping other people learn English. And somewhere in the middle of all that, I realized that I had almost stopped asking that question for myself. This channel is my attempt to start asking it again. My name's V. I'm Vietnamese. I was born and grew up here. I was educated here. I've spent my whole career teaching here, teaching English to students of all ages. I love teaching. I want to say that clearly, because what I'm about to say might sound like criticism. It is not. Or maybe it is a little bit. But it is a kind of criticism that comes from love. After 15 years, I started to notice something. My students were working incredibly hard. They were studying late into the night, memorizing vocabulary lists, practicing grammar structures over and over, and many of them, when they passed the exams, still could not hold a real conversation in English. And I started asking, why? Why is all this effort not translating into actual learning? And the more I asked the question, the more I realized it is not just about language learning. It is about how we understand learning itself. What learning is, what it requires, what gets in its way. So I did something a little unusual. At this stage of my career, with 15 years of classroom experience behind me, I went back to school. I'm currently pursuing a doctoral degree in education. And I want to be honest with you. It has been one of the most humbling experiences of my life. Because when you start reading research on how people actually learn, you realize how much of what we do in the classroom all over the world, not just in Vietnam, is not based on evidence. It is based on habits, tradition, assumption. That realization, that discomfort is what started this channel. So let me tell you what the Becoming Learners is. It is not a study tips channel. There are many of those, and some of them are excellent. But this is not that. It is not a channel that will tell you how to score higher on IELTS or how to get into good university or how to be more productive. I have nothing against those things. But again, not this channel. This channel is about something deeper. It is about asking, what does it actually mean to learn? What does education do to us? And what should it do? Who are the thinkers who have asked these questions before us and found surprising answers? And now, in the age of artificial intelligence, how are all these questions changing? We will talk about John Dewey and Paulo Freire and Lev Vygotsky. We will talk about the science of how memory works and why so much of what we do in classroom runs against it. We will talk about language and how the language you think in shapes what you are able to think. And we will talk about the history of education, the moments that changed who got to learn and how and why. And we will talk about AI because I believe, and I want to be careful here because I think this is generally complicated. That artificial intelligence is the most significant thing to happen to education since the printing press. And we need to think carefully about what that means. That is what this channel is for. I want to be honest with you about something else. In Vietnamese culture, and I say this with love because it is my culture, there is a tendency to present yourself as someone who has already arrived, who already knows, who is already an expert, Showing uncertainty, showing that you are still figuring things out, it can feel like weakness. I want to resist that tendency here deliberately. Because I think the most honest thing I can tell you is this: I'm still becoming. I'm a teacher who is relearning how to be a student. I'm an educator who is questioning the foundation of education. I'm someone who spent 15 years being quite confident about how learning works and who is now in the middle of doctorate, considerably less confident. And I really believe this, that the uncertainty is the point, that the willingness to not know is actually the beginning of learning. There is a concept in education research called beginner's mind. The idea that the most dangerous thing for learning is the sense that you have already understood. That the moment you stop being a beginner, in some important way, you stop learning. So the name of this channel, The Becoming Learners, is not an accident. It's a commitment. A reminder to me and to you that learning is not a destination. It is a practice. It is something that you are always in the middle of. So, who is this channel for? If you are in a classroom, in Vietnam, in Asia, anywhere, and you have ever felt the gap between what you're supposed to do and what you believe actually helps students, this channel is for you. It is for learners. If you are a student or a doctoral candidate or someone who never stops being curious and you have ever wanted to think more carefully about how you think, this is for you. It is for everyone who has ever sat in a classroom and wondered, why are we doing this way? Is there a better way? Or has anyone asked these questions before? The answer, by the way, is yes. Many extraordinary people have asked these questions. People like Dewey, Ferry, Vygotsky, and Bell Hooks. People who were often ignored in their own time, whose ideas we are still catching up to. This channel is my attempt to bring those ideas into conversation with the world we actually live in, a world of AI and digital distraction and changing economies and Vietnamese classroom and doctoral seminars and 15 years of very imperfect teaching. I do not have all the answers. I have a lot of questions, and I think the questions are worth asking out loud together. In the next episode, we are going to start with the question that sounds simple but turns out not to be. What does it actually mean to learn something? Not memorize, not recognize, learn. I think the answer will surprise you. It surprised me. For now, thank you for being here. If you found this useful or interesting, please share it with someone you think would appreciate it. And if something I said made you want to push back or ask a question or share your own experience, please do. The comment section is a place for that. I want to close with the question I asked at the beginning because I think it is worth sitting here. When was the last time you really learned something? What would it mean to make that happen more often? I'll see you in the next episode. Keep becoming.